You're listening to At the Grove, a podcast for the Heritage School.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of At the Grove. Today, we're going to dive into Heritage Athletics. We've got our Athletic Director, Jake Copeland, here. We've got two of our new coaches, Coach Josh V and Coach Levi Dunn, here to talk about the soccer and football program. So we're going to talk about the future of the athletic department, how we're growing these programs. We're also going to chat about our expanding young athlete programs and talk about the bigger picture, how sports shapes character, teamwork, and discipline beyond the game. So whether you're a parent, player, or just keeping up with Heritage Athletics, there's a lot to cover. But before we talk about the Heritage Athletic programs, let's start with some introductions. We've got some great people on today. It is a full house. Can you guys just share a little bit about yourselves, your background in sports, and what brought you to Heritage?
Yeah, I'm Jake Copeland, Athletic Director here at the Heritage School. I'm going into my sixth year here at Heritage. I've been here two different stops. I was here in 15 and 16 as a middle school history teacher and football and baseball coach. I left and went to Jacksonville University to coach football and came back December of 19. I've been the athletic director since 2020, and my background has been coaching college football.
My name's Levi Dunn, head football coach here at the Heritage School. I just started here 2 weeks ago, so a little bit different than Coach Copeland. But my background, I grew up around football. My dad coached in the SEC for over 25 years. I started coaching when I was 19. I was a coordinator when I was 22. My first year as a coordinator, won a state championship. I then made the jump into college, had stops at UTEP and Texas State as a graduate assistant, and then got back into the high school world and ended up here with a great opportunity with great people.
All right. Hi, I'm Joshua Villalobos, head of soccer at the Heritage School. Been a part of soccer my whole life. I've been fortunate enough to be a former U.S. Youth International soccer player, as well as a senior men's Puerto Rican national team player. Formerly played collegiate soccer at Furman University, and now I'm the head director at MOBA Soccer Academy on the girls' side. And I'm here at Heritage under the vision Jake Copeland has sold to me about developing a great athletic program for all our Heritage Hawks.
Awesome. So we have some very, very impressive people here. Okay, so Jake, can you first kind of talk to us about the big picture of the athletics program? What's the overall vision for the Heritage Athletics? Where are we going? What exciting things are coming up?
Oh, certainly, absolutely. Athletics has been so important in my life because it really does teach you a ton of different life skills. So really looking at the Heritage School and who we are, when we're talking about we have 3-year-olds all the way to 12th grade, you see your ELC, they are varsity's biggest fans, and really incorporating the mind, body, spirit, camaraderie into all of our athletic programs. We're top notch programs where we're coaching them like college programs. We're studying film. We're practicing the instruction they're getting out of the field is very top level, but not just at the varsity level. It goes all the way down into our middle school level and into our League 345. So when you start seeing our athletic programs, we're starting in that third grade, and we're really instilling how to handle adversity, how to be a good teammate, how to win with character, how to lose and take that responsibility, just really all of the skills that athletics can teach you. And it's not always about the wins and losses. It's about the lessons learned through athletics. And as long as we are instilling that into our young men and women, I think our athletic department can certainly be a success.
Fantastic. And we'll certainly kind of go back and talk about League 345 and that lower school program, because this is a whole school, all level athletics program. It's not just for the varsity athletes. But I want to talk about a couple of they're not new programs, but they're programs that we are building, specifically soccer and football, which is why we brought in these excellent coaches in Coach V and Coach Dunn. And the soccer season is already in full swing. They are playing extremely well, very competitively. So we're really excited to see how the season's going to unfold, what they're going to do with their season. We've got quite a few superstars on this team. It's really exciting. But Josh, can you kind of talk to us about new coach, new year? How did you approach preparing for this soccer season?
Yeah, being my first year as the head of soccer, it was really about just getting to learn about the players, their individual mentality, take into consideration their individual performance, their characteristics, mix that in with my standard, my expectations, and those of where we're trying to achieve in the future, and building a program.
think that is something that kind of sets us apart, as these coaches are working with the students. It's not just a, here's my vision, here's what we're going to do, but it's a, let's work together. What do you want to do? Where are your strengths and how can we merge all of that together? So Levi, you are brand new.
Yep.
really building that football program. So we don't have a lot to talk about of what you've done, but can you talk to us about what your vision is going to be? What is that preparation going to look like?
You know, tagging off of what Josh said, he hit a word, and it's standard. I think the beauty of it is you set the standard, and, resetting and building something with a standard in mind that can build and be in the vision of the school is something that really is one of the big goals. We have a great core group of kids that have the right mentality and want to do things the right way. And so, to build around them, to have them lay the foundation for something going into the future years that can be something substantial and really beneficial for all the younger groups that are to follow them.
That's really exciting, and I'm glad you're here and kind of getting that fire behind the guys and getting our football program up to par here. Let me circle back. Josh, can you kind of tell me about, you haven't been here very long, but what have you seen in terms of your team coming together, improvements that they've made, how they're handling being coached by a new coach this year?
Yeah, credit to the boys. I set the bar high, I set the standard really high. I'm going to treat them no different if they were playing collegially or professionally. They've rose to that standard and really adapted to the team's new expectations.
So any ultimate goals that you want to share for either of these teams looking into, I guess, this season and next year's season?
Yeah, absolutely. I know on both the boys and girls soccer team, I want to consistently get into the state playoffs and build a championship program. I want to build a program that represents the Heritage brand and grows the brand within the local community, within the state of Georgia, and ultimately nationally.
Coach, you hit the nail on the head with that one. But a key one for us with the football program is going to be growth. I think seeing substantial growth from year to year, whether that be on the field or off the field, learning the fundamentals of the game, things like that are things that kind of fly under the radar a lot of times, especially with sports like football. There's a lot of details that go into it, and I think a lot of it's got to be taught. And I think growth from year to year is going to lead to the results that we want. And I think that within the near future, we'll have the same goals that our soccer program has, and everybody on campus has. There's a lot of success that goes around here at the Heritage School, and to fall in line with that would be something that we're going to do as well.
So let's kind of switch things up a bit and talk again, circle back to that League 345, talk about the future stars of the Heritage Athletics program, our young athletes. We've got a great middle school athletics program. They play almost all the sports that varsity does, really training up to enter that varsity level. And we also offer sports programming for our younger students through League 345. This is an after-school intramural program. It's super fun for our 3rd to 5th graders. The varsity athletes volunteer to coach. The kids love working with the older students as their players on the team. And each season wraps up with this huge, big championship that's played in front of the entire school. And it is super fun to watch. The kids get so into it. The players get really into it. It's just a fun experience all around. But Jake, you've been involved in this program for a while. Can you kind of tell us about the program, its importance, what you like about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had the privilege this past summer and presented League 345 at the GIAA Coaches Convention this past summer, but we've really revamped it. When I was here in 15 and 16, it was called Intramural Sports, and it was just basketball. And then it slowly grew into developmental sports and started adding more programs. And it was, each sport was kind of doing something different. And so sat down with Sarah Payton, Kristen, and a few other people going into this summer, and we revamped it, and we're calling it League 345 now. It's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders that happen at 3:45 on Mondays and Wednesdays. And it's just been a really nice change, because what we wanted to do was we wanted to take out the creation of all-star teams, or the creation of having the varsity players draft the play. We wanted it to be very competitive across the board. We wanted everybody to have a chance every time that they had a competition. They were going to be able to compete. And it's just been a really nice change, and being able to offer running club and futsal, basketball, and now we got flag football getting ready to start up. It's really neat. And about 3 to 4 years ago, as the athletic director, we made a change where I met with all the varsity coaches and told them that, hey, you're not just a varsity coach, you're going to be a program director. And what falls under your program is your varsity sport, any JV that you may have, middle school, and now your League 345. So it really gets the varsity coaches very much invested in their program at a young age, and allow that sport program to grow starting in that 3rd grade.
Absolutely. And I think the reverse is true too. The kids love the coaches. I mean, you've got the little 3-year-olds that recognize the varsity coaches, giving high fives all around campus. So it's a really great relationship that they develop from a very young age that become very dedicated players that love their coaches, and it's a really great spirit around the team.
Yes.
Talking about League 3-4-5, I actually heard today in a meeting, Miss Brandenburg, she was talking about her daughter playing and to Simone, and was talking about that she loves that her kid is kind of expanding her athletic abilities. She's a cheerleader at heart, but now she's super into basketball and going to try football. So it's really great, and this is the story of, I think, a lot of these kids, they go in and they try something new, which is super great. Definitely one of those benefits. And Jake, can you kind of talk about, or really anybody talk about, what else are these benefits of starting these sports at such a young age?
Absolutely. Here at the Heritage School, one of the beautiful things about our athletic programs is so many kids go out and play a sport, not because they've done it their whole life or not because their mom or dad did it. They're doing it because their friends are doing it and they're just going to go give it a try. And you really see that starting in that League 3-4-5. It's really a core group of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. They just go from whatever sport there is. They're going to sign up for it. They're going to try it. They're going to do it. And it is neat to see those ones that have never thought about picking up a basketball or playing football. And next thing you know, it's become their passion because they've been exposed to something they may not have ever been exposed to if it wasn't for League 3-4-5. And then just watching that develop into the middle school as well, where kids have never played football, but their two best buddies are doing it. So it's watching them sit there and talk and kind of rag on each other. Next thing you know, they're coming to your door and saying, "Hey, Coach Copeland, I think I want to try football," or "I think I want to try baseball." And this spring, I think we had 38 middle school tennis players sign up.
Wow.
And next thing I know, 4 of them decide, you know what? We don't have a whole lot of baseball players, so I'm going to go play baseball instead of tennis. And I'm not sure if they've ever done it or not, but they're having a blast doing it.
That's great. Yeah, so it kind of sets these kids up, like, you don't have to pick one thing and only do that. It's such the age read it to explore. And that's what I really like about having a small campus is you can play all the things. We have a no-cut policy, so these kids can just try something, and it's a really great age to go out and just try it and see what you enjoy doing. But we've got even more programming coming up for youth with the Youth Football Association program, which is a brand new idea. So, Jake, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we actually had our first coaches meeting last night, and it's going to be called Youth Athletics Association. And it's for Heritage students, but it's also for kids here in the community. I have found with my 7-year-old and now 5-year-old that youth football here in the county is lacking. And not just lacking, there is places to do it, but the environment in which it's done and the atmosphere and the coaching level that is being provided for youth football, I was very disappointed in. And I saw a need in September and had this idea and have been working on it and coming up with ways to make this happen. And I was actually just on the phone with the director of a league, and we're going to be able to provide something this fall that just isn't here in Coweta County. And I think it's going to be really neat for our young students starting to learn the game of football and are interested in it. And then also getting kids here in the community, seeing our campus, seeing what Heritage is about, because one of the main talking points at our coaches meeting last night was the mind, body, spirit camaraderie.
Right.
And that is how that association and this league is going to be ran, is keeping those things in mind and representing the Heritage School the way we want to be represented.
That's definitely a need in our community. And I think at large, sports has become so incredibly competitive that it's not just about going out and having fun. It's like people are thinking about, oh, is my 5-year-old going to go play college somewhere? And it's like, wow, just let them like run around the field and have fun. So I think that's kind of a great environment where it's like, come and fail. And it's okay to just try something and be with your friends and learn a new skill and have a good time without these pressures of, we got to win the championship.
Right, for sure. And, I was thinking about this, talking about my vision of starting a youth athletics association and all that. And football has been my life. I mean, I went from playing college football to coaching college football to getting a job here as a football coach and teacher and stuff like that. So football being so important, it's like, where did that come from? And it really goes back to my youth football days. And that was my passion. And I've always wanted to be a coach, and I've always wanted to be involved in football. So watching youth football kind of fail my children because they're not getting that experience that I had is just something that has been a passion of mine and something that I want to be able to give to our community and also to the local community.
That's great. Very, very exciting things on the horizon. But I want to zoom out a little bit and talk more about kind of athletics from a big picture standpoint. And we kind of touched on this a lot, that it's not really just about winning and losing. It's not really just about getting athletes to the next level, though that's all great and that's wonderful. But really, athletics here is to have a role in shaping your character, your life skills. So, Levi and Josh, can you kind of talk about why you think athletics is so valuable beyond just the win and loss and the championship? What kind of impact does it have on our students on and off the field?
Well, there's a lot of things that you can kind of segue in with that. But, to me, the structure of a high school sports team, the expectations that are set and things like that. And obviously in the classroom, we have a very high academic standard here, but it's different when you're on a football field and you're working as a group. A lot of times in the classroom, you're leaning on yourself to take tests and things like that. But when you're playing in the game with the team on the field, you have to be able to work together. You have to be able to communicate. You have to problem solve as a group. And once you get into the real world, a lot of times you're going to work with a team and have to transition that talent that you've learned over your years of playing with a sport in high school, middle school, youth, whatever it may be. And that'll directly translate to after high school or after college or whatever education level you finish at. But I think, to me, that's one of the big pieces is the structure that it provides and some of those tools that you can get on and off the field.
I really like that insight, that it's not just even about learning the sport or continuing to play, but just the life lessons of working with others and give and take and letting someone else have the spotlight sometimes. And, the team benefits when everybody benefits, right? But Josh, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the athlete lifestyle prepares these student athletes for life to come, whether that's establishing healthy physical activity habits, sleep, nutritional, time management, how to do these things, and that will really propel them into thriving adults, not only through college, but as parents in the future.
So I think the school, even beyond just the athletics department, is really advocating and focusing for this upcoming school year about these higher level benefits, particularly the importance of bodily health. That includes how our athletes prepare not just during practice, but in days leading up to a game. So it's not just showing up on the field at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. You got to prep just like you would when you take a test. You got to study, you got to do the homework, all of these things. So what does that kind of preparation look like off the field for your athletes? What advice do you give them to prepare for the game well in advance of the game?
Yeah, I encourage all of our players to prepare properly, show respect for themselves, coaches, teammates, and how they do prepare, which includes, again, time management, sleep habits, staying up with their studies, their academics, being prepared for the tactics that may be asked, their roles and responsibilities.
For me, going into football is such a physical sport and stuff like that. We talk about the physical demands of sports and things like that. We talk about the new food service that we're going to provide. That really delves into the fuel that you put into your body. For football specifically, and this goes to all sports, but the weight room's a huge proponent for it. To see the most results out of it and things like that, you have to put the right things into your body to see the right growth that you want to see. And so putting more healthy options available to our student athletes and things like that in the school, I think will help the athletic department in a lot of ways, that will be immediate, and in the long term, you'll see better results both on and off the field, with health situations and things like that. I think it'll solve a lot of problems for us.
Absolutely. Piggybacking off of what Levi's talking about with that new food service, we've talked about this a few times and definitely sent information and things like that. But that's really a big focus, and it's not just about having lunch. It is about this whole mind, body, spirit. Everybody loves their Chick-fil-A, but that might not be the best thing to eat
right
every day before a game or during practice. It's maybe not the best fuel for your body. So what people might not know is that our food service is going to include a dietitian on staff, which I think is really amazing, who has this plan to work closely with the coaches and trainers to assess the needs of the athletes, help them build a meal plan. So that's going to be a really great component, I think, in addition to the athletics program, and tie all of this health together. But Josh, I wanted to talk to you specifically with your background in kinesiology. Could you give us some insight into the role specifically that food plays in preparing athletes and ensuring they stay healthy?
Yeah, really it's a balancing act. We want to encourage training quality for all of our athletes, but to maintain training quality, you also have to have the fuel, the nutrition quality to match that, so that we maximize their performance and adaptation in their specific sports.
So I think this has been a really good conversation, and thank you guys for coming in and talking about the upcoming sports season. We're really excited about the building of these programs, from the little babies all the way up to the seniors, that mind, body, spirit, healthy. But before we finish up, I just wanted to hear your final thoughts, either about what's ahead for Heritage Athletics, maybe some advice or ways the community can get involved, what excites you for the future. So I just wanted to hear your final kind of send-off thoughts.
Yeah, the spring is such a busy time. There's usually a sporting event every day, whether it's here or away. So if you have some free time and want to come and check us out, whether it's baseball, track, tennis, soccer, whatever it is, there'll definitely be something going on. And I know Miss Susan is always looking for volunteers for the concession stand. So if that's something that you feel apt to do, please reach out and let us know. And we'd love to have you out there. And hopefully we'll have some more spring weather and not this cold, windy day today. Yeah, the two. But yes, please come out and check us out. It's going to be a fun spring season.
Yes, for parents, a quick plug for concessions. I have talked to many parents who say that's actually really fun and they have a great time do concessions. So sign up. It is not terrible. It's great. You get to watch the kids and sell concessions.
And get in the game for free.
And get it. There you go.
That's always the win.
Absolutely. And, if you have friends that aren't part of Heritage, they're not affiliated with the school or they don't go here, bring them out to the sports anyway. It's a fun environment. It's fun to watch the little kids kind of run around and cheer on the big players and play with their friends at the same time. We've got youth baseball night coming up again, where we invite the community out. So we've got a lot of fun things going on. So invite your friends, or if you're not a Heritage family, athletics is still very much open to you. But Coach Levi, Coach Josh, any final words from you guys?
No, hey, I look forward to it. A great spring, getting to watch our student athletes compete, and getting to build relationships with them inside the building, and going forward, and hopefully have a good fall coming up. And look forward to watching our soccer team go far into the playoffs and hopefully make a run at it this year.
I appreciate that. No, I just want to personally thank you, Emily, at the Heritage School, for the opportunity to come on board as the head of soccer. And let's go Hawks.
That's the best way to end it. Yeah. Let's go Hawks.
Thanks for listening to the Heritage School podcast. You can listen to At the Grove on Spotify, Apple Music, or your favorite podcast app. Further connect with the Heritage School by following us on Instagram and Facebook, or visiting our website at heritageschool.com. I'm Emily Kimbell, and we will see you next time at the Grove.